Hey everybody, welcome back. We've got another Black and White Nights commentary here. It's been quite a while, to say the least. Um, so yeah, got me, BDG Reviews, and Rob here. Uh, who knows if Will be joining us later? You never know. Anything's possible. But yeah, we are covering Return of the Living Dead.
In black and white.
Oh yeah.
Was it? Was the last one we did? Wasn't it Humanoids from the Deep?
Yeah. Yeah, it was Humanoids from the Deep.
And that, oh, that's right. And we had that guest. Who? What was his name again?
Um, I think it was it Fonz or was it uh Rye? It might have been Rye.
I can't remember.
I don't know.
That was a lot of fun though. That was a while ago.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. This particular movie is one I've seen this in black and white, and that's why I suggested it because it honestly it works really well. It's kind of surprising how well it works. At least I find. Um, Especially knowing that Night was done in black and white. So to see this is like a bit of an experience.
I'm curious. I've got the, of course, the set screen running, and it's just some of the montage that have going from the movie. I'm curious, especially Tarman. I'm really curious how that's all going to look.
Oh yeah, I tell you what works really well in this, and I don't know whether you've seen any scenes on you know on the montage, but the 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 like the gas that comes out of the tank and everything looks really good in black and white. It's kind of weird. You wouldn't think, just like some like, you know, chemical coming out of a tank would look good, but it does.
And we have a constant rain effect, which I know you love.
Oh yeah, rain in black and white just works so well. I don't know why, but it does. So we should mention we are running different Blu-rays, right? You're using the MGM Blu-ray.
Yep.
Yeah, I got the Scream Factory, so there's no difference in runtime or anything, so we're all good that way. So yeah, you want to get in on this now?
Yeah, let's do it. I guess let's do it.
Okay, should we start from like zero or what? Do you think?
We'll just hit. I think if we both just hit on three, the play will probably
Okay,
be pretty close.
okay. So 3, 2, 1, go. Oh yeah, the events portrayed in this film are all true. The names are real names of real people and real organizations. Oh, man, what I wouldn't give to own that sign. You need a medical supplies.
That it looks good already, man.
Oh yeah, and I mean it just works. It feels like a movie that could have been shot in black and white originally.
Yeah, I was reminded listening to Dan O'Bannon at some point earlier on. He sort of struggled with when to do the faraway shots, when to come up close,
Yeah,
and I don't know, kind of unfortunate, I guess, that he was sort of second guessing himself looking back on his commentary.
yeah.
Um,
I
but
mean that scene in particular that you're talking about. Yeah, I actually kind of like the way that he shot it. I like the long shot simply because it gives you this feeling of emptiness. You know, like there's nobody around. It's completely desolate. Where, yeah, you know what? Maybe the close-ups and everything would have been like scarier,
Well,
but
he says. I mean, he talks. I mean, everyone was doing it like that, and so he
mhm,
wants to kind of, in a lot of ways, step away from, as he said, not too roughly, I guess, stepping on George's toes by
mhm,
just doing this film. Um,
yeah,
because of the relationship with Russ. Is it Russo?
yeah, yeah,
He's a writer for George, and they're splitting apart. And of course, Dan himself wasn't. You know, I mean, he wasn't a stranger to those things either. I think didn't him and a couple sort of part ways after Dark Star.
yeah.
John,
From what I know, yeah.
John
From
and
what I know, Danaben was actually a bit hard to work with. You know, they say this movie was essentially like it was very hard to film. You know, but teach their own, right? It's different directors have different styles, I guess.
it's funny. Maybe it was on his commentary. No, maybe no, it wasn't commentary. It was one of the extras on the MGM release here.
Mhm.
Uh, he talked about his sort of bittersweet regret of not actually getting the ability or the opportunity to direct Alien, though he wrote the screenplay.
Mhm.
Um, he said it was hard. It's hard for him to really be too hold too much of a grudge, though, because Ridley did such a phenomenal job
Yeah.
directing that movie. But it was interesting just to hear him. I didn't realize how much he had really wanted that. It makes you wonder how Alien would have looked in the end had he.
I can't help but think that it probably would have looked like Dark Star.
There's everything works in a certain way for a certain reason. I think it's
Hmm.
too often you look back and go, what if that, what if this, and I think things just you know
Yeah.
I love all this little foreshadowing though of even here. And
Mhm.
it's funny. I was
Mhm.
watching this the other day in color. I wanted to save the black and white for tonight.
Yeah.
Um, but it's interesting just the character change that Trash goes through
Hmm.
pretty quick. I mean, she's sort of like all, this death and everything else, and then when things get real,
Yeah.
it,
So it
yeah, it's
it comes
fun.
off like it's all an act. So
I guess there's something to be said in that, right? I mean,
yeah.
so be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Man, I love this movie. You could watch this movie anytime and always see something new in it. You know, and I mean, hell, Jimmy Karen is awesome. I mean, look at this. Never been more serious in my life. It's like,
He has got some of the funniest moments.
yeah, he really is. I mean, I just love the fact that, like he's here telling, this new guy this story. And you can tell he's hamming it up for him. He's like, you know what, I'm going to make this like really kind of scary and freaky. And
You got, and that's it's funny. That's the interesting thing about this movie is you got these three, Clue and James and Don.
Hmm.
surrounded by all these kids.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are veterans, man.
Yeah.
And just to see the performances that they bring to this movie and um, how they kind of just took these kids under their wing and just it's really cool when you can hear these guys so many years later look back with fondness
Oh yeah.
at an experience like this. I mean, it's just nice to hear. You don't hear it all the time, and it's nice when you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I would love to hear Kevin Bacon just glow in one interview about how much he was fond of his role in Friday, but I don't know. I've never heard it.
Yeah. I haven't either. It would be kind of cool though. I just love that. Like you're working in a medical thing and you freak out over that little story. Want to see him? That's awesome. Mm.
And I do love how they take the idea of Night of the Living Dead and as though it were a real event.
Yeah.
It's just spinning off of that, which is pretty.
It's kind of cool because, the thing is, you could imagine, like, a real situation that someone wanted to make a movie of, and they just said, like, no, like, you are not telling that story. So they swap it around a bit. I love the stuff in the background. I mean, like
Nixon poster back there.
yeah, like the Nixon poster, the bird is a slave driver sign up in the office and everything. It's like, yeah, they did a good job set dressing this movie. It's kind of cool when you think about it. We're almost 10 minutes in, and, the title credits haven't come up yet. You never really consider it, but, Oh, man. Yeah, Dan O'Bannon was going on about, like, how, he really wanted, like, this, like, the yellow smoke and everything.
Right.
Honestly, I think it looks better in black and white.
The thing about that smoke too, he talked about how they had to use that sulfur-based
Oh, yeah.
chemical. I mean, it's funny the stuff they got away with back in the day. I mean, the story in the thing, when they pulled away the tarp and with
Hmm.
the thing creature there, that they smoke sort of comes out and
It was all toxic and everything, yeah.
I mean, and it's funny, and you hear the stories on the Alien set and on the Shining set, the
Mhm.
mountains of salt that are passed off as snow.
Yeah.
They're breathing that stuff in it when they're out there.
Hmm.
It's funny, man. It's funny the things, and but I mean, the stuff looks freaking great.
Yeah.
This is great, man. This is great.
Yeah. And that's just great, like how are we going to store this corpse? Oh, we'll put hooks in the ears. One interesting thing that I did hear on about this movie was, how Dan O'Bannon and everyone went around to see like real mortuaries and everything, and people wouldn't let them in to the back.
Right.
They said though, even though that happened, um, at every one they went to, after it was over, after they'd like finished like scouting it or whatever, someone came up to them and they'd be like, you know what, I just got to let someone know they're having sex with dead bodies in there. And it makes you wonder how many of them were just literally pulling their leg and how many of them were actually true. Because I mean, it's not even like they filmed this. It was just literally people just came out after and was like, I just got to let you know. And this weird ass house, man.
I tell you what, though, man, I am so freaking digging this in black and white.
It looks great, and it feels like it could be a legitimate follow up to Tonight. I love this. What's for dinner? Your favorite lamb chops. I had them for lunch.
You know, it's funny. I thought about this when I was watching this earlier too, and I'm even more now. I had a thought, man. Now I remember the movie. I was thinking that we need to visit in black and white.
Mm-hmm.
This just jogged my memory. Nightmare City.
Ooh, yeah.
That
That could really work, yeah.
And you know, those effects as goofy as they are, they come across. I'm sure the black and white will negate a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to. I don't know why, but when you first saw the flag frame, I don't know why that just jogged my memory, and I just thought Nightmare City. Yeah, that's got to be done.
I love it that this is literally just someone's house. They didn't dress it or anything. It's just, that's someone lives there.
Where did they say this was? South LA, where they filmed
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Oh man. I just love this, like all these, like when you look at all of these characters, they don't really look like people that would hang out together. Some of them do.
Yeah.
Like Suicide and Trash and but
it doesn't take long though before they really do jive together though. I
they
mean,
do. Yeah.
well, they talked about how they spent what was it, 2 weeks in prepping their uh, uh, missing the word here, just prepping their lines and everything, working together.
Yeah.
I think they spent like 2 solid weeks. Of course, you had to pay for that crap, but it works. It comes. I mean,
it does. It comes across like they genuinely seem to like each other.
now see, just for a flash of a moment, it almost had a 1950s.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's be honest. The main girl character, those are totally 80s clothes, but in a way they look 50s.
All right, you said okay. So Resurrection Cemetery. I love just the entrance there.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
how's this, man? How's this for one? Cemetery Man in black and white.
Oh, that'd be nice. That would work really well. Yeah, I mean, like look at this. Essentially, you got you got three punks. You got one like I don't even know what you'd call him, like the guy with the tie and everything.
Oh, I don't know if we're completely evened up with each other, but that's when you see the birds flying off above the tree
Oh
line,
yeah,
pretty sweet.
yeah. I always love what they said about like this scene, where they use the Lysol,
Yeah.
and the reason they were allowed to was because Lysol liked the idea that Lysol could kill anything, even like the smell of like zombies.
Isn't that awesome? Wish everyone would think like that.
Yeah, I know. Dan O'Bannon mentions it in the commentary, but it's true. You know, he makes these guys look genuinely sick. And the way he says about it, like with like doing like sweat and like the sideburns and everything, it works.
See, doesn't quite impact me the same as it did like when I was a kid and watched this. I just remember these two carrying on used to crack me up to no end. I used to just laugh hysterically on and on. It's so freaking funny.
Oh yeah,
Now I think I just enjoy watching. I enjoy watching what they
oh
both
yeah.
put together. But man, as a kid, it was just I just want to fall on the floor dying.
Here we go, the Lysol scene. You know, it's like they loved it. Lysol will kill anything, even zombie stank.
There, I keep out quarantine chicken pox. I'm looking at signs now, man. I'm looking
Oh yeah, the stuff in the background in this movie is just
thick.
like you know, it's like the little like naked woman drawing over next to the skeleton.
I didn't see that one.
It was like on like that
Well,
you
they're
know,
not bashful with the pictures,
yeah.
walls and stuff. In fact, it's funny earlier when you see Tom Matthews' character sort of grow more and more anxious
Hmm.
as he's telling that story. I mean, and everything is done with intent and purpose when it's framed. And you look, I mean, at his profile, I mean, just beyond his face is, of course, the calendar. I think it was a calendar of the fully breasted girl.
Yep.
And it just how things contrast with everything is done with some sort of purpose or intent.
Oh yeah. I love this reaction. You know, it's just like just lock it in.
I always forget about these butterflies, man, moving.
That's one of those scenes that's great because they never
Burp.
they never bring it up. Bert is a slave driver and a cheap son of a bitch who's got me and you here or something.
That is hilarious. I've
I
never even saw that before.
Yeah, that's the wonder of Blu-ray. You know, we actually get to see what it says. I love it. It's like no, 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 no. That's the army. We don't want to call the army. The funny thing is, if they had, this would be a completely different movie. I love that. You know, has his drink. You know, straightens his hair.
It freaking cracks me up too, just how wet the underarms are.
Yeah, and it really. I mean, look at that. You can see the sweat on Linnea Quigley's
Yep.
face and everything. That's just kind of
That's not near as clear in color as it is in black and white.
no at all. Funny thing I find funny, this actor here, the guy,
Yeah,
did you know he's not black?
yeah, he's Hispanic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But he looks like a black dude.
yeah.
Also, that thing behind him, the gravestone,
Weeping Angel.
yeah, that's been apparently rented out to so many movies and everything. So apparently you can see it in other movies.
And this
Yep.
my son's not watching with me. You guys remember the old days with a boom box on your shoulder? Did you ever do that?
I did. I did. I mean,
Tape cassette you had in there. Think of a couple.
oh, I can think of one right away. That was a Bolt Thrower, and what was the album? Oh, I can't remember, but it was a Bolt Thrower album I had on cassette that I used to listen to like that. Metallica's Black Album. I used to do that with. So of course, you know, I turned it outwards so that it wouldn't deafen me, and it would kind of send music out.
So I remember the first time putting in tape cassette of like Van Halen's 1984,
Oh, nice.
Leopard's Pyromania. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Now put in some Twisted Sister.
yeah, I had that tape.
Yeah.
You remember the Dead Milkmen?
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember the Dead Milkman.
It's funny. My close friend, my best friend.
Mm.
Um, I was I was a little bit more, I guess, generic in the sense that I was just sort of into more of the mainstream stuff. But
Mhm.
he's the one who would, suddenly he'd be popping in a tape of the Dead Milkman. I'm like, who is this?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, oh, who's the group that sang oh, you put your balls through the wall?
Oh, Accept.
Except, yeah,
Yeah.
he'd be playing. He'd go from the Dead Milkman to Accept. It was just that funny. And then we put in Pink Floyd, and could never make sense out of any of it. He just loved music and loved
Yeah.
stuff,
Here's something about this scene that I was thinking about the last time I watched it. Does the corpse run after Bert because it sees them as other zombies? Because it goes right for Bert.
Yeah,
It like completely ignores both of them. And I mean, Frank's right there. He's right in the way. But
that's true.
yeah. So does it?
So they've already really begun to turn.
Yeah. So I wonder, like, does it see them as other zombies, or does it just like see them like they're not a particularly good food source? I don't know.
I think the great twist on this is right here.
Oh yeah.
Just like that, you can't just put something through the head and expect finale. Finale.
Yeah.
It's they still keep going, man. They're
Oh man.
don't matter, man. They'll just chop off every piece of this thing, and everything will still be moving.
Oh, yeah. It's this part. It's when he comes in with
Yeah.
with the hacksaw. Like
Oh,
everyone's like, oh.
everything looks worse in black and white, man.
Yeah. It's like it just gets up like, ugh.
I was just thinking. I was just trying to imagine what the buzzsaw scene would look like from Absurd in black and white.
Ooh, that could be good.
Of course, this is a bit absurd now, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I just wonder why they didn't stick it in the box. I mean, the box is open there with the skeleton in it and everything. Just stick it in there. Oh, priceless. You mean the movie Line? It's like, yeah, yeah.
What do those specimen worms look like? They're in that box behind them.
Yeah.
You got me looking all around the frame now. I'm just looking.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's the sort of thing. It really is. Once you know about all the background stuff, you keep looking.
I think black. Yeah, I think black and white just makes things easier like that.
Hmm. I love this just because they couldn't, afford to actually film, the the fact he's over there is like, oh yeah, it looks like he's in, his lights on. But it works.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You don't need to look out. I know he wanted that shot, but you
Mhm.
don't need it.
Yeah. I find it funny all the stuff in the in the mortuary, like in the background, like like the pictures of whatever her name was, Hitler's girlfriend or whatever. I can't remember her name.
Eva.
Yeah, Eva Braun. Yeah, like a picture of her, and makes you wonder, like, is Don Calfa's character supposed to have been a Nazi or something, or what?
Well, it's funny. Didn't I don't know the right specific words for it. Didn't they do modify Linnea um, with certain aspects of her nudity so it
Oh,
wouldn't come across too detailed?
yeah, they made like a plastic um lower area, I will
Right.
say.
Well, it's just
Yeah.
funny. I was just thinking about that because we were talking earlier about some of the things you see in Italian cinema or others where you
Hmm.
know they definitely don't shy away from that stuff at all.
Nope. Oh, I love that. I just love it. Is that Freddy? It's like, no, that's not Freddy. Well, how do you know? Because that's a mortuary. Why would he be going in there?
Yeah, I love those old headphones, man.
Oh yeah. The funny thing is, you used to get pretty good sound out of those. Look at that pipe too. I mean, it's like,
Got that Walkman, man. That Walkman going on.
mhm. Yeah. I mean, like, look at the stuff in the background. You got like
Yeah,
the German like propaganda
so
stuff.
nice to see there. It's like 20 after 9.
Yeah.
This
I
guy's
wonder what
freaking
he's.
awesome, man.
I wonder what he's blowing off of him. That's what I want to know. I love also the fact that they left he left the door open, like unlocked.
This is great.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a German pistol, isn't it?
It was supposed to be a Luger,
Yeah.
but they couldn't actually get a Luger, so they found like something similar and used that. I think it's supposed to hint that there's some like connection there. Like I don't know whether he's like a fan of World War II history or something, or whatever. But
See, I love the little explanation on rigor mortis right now that we get here
yeah,
that really does explain what's happening to the other two.
yeah. I mean, it's the sort of thing. A lot of movies like nowadays, they wouldn't bother setting it up.
This is brilliant. I love how they do it.
Yeah. Well, he's dead now. What I want to know is this: what happened to that body? Because we never see it again in the entire movie.
It's true. That's true. I never actually really thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, they bring in the stuff, whatever. You never see him wheel it away or anything. And by all rights, it should still be there. I mean, that's illegal. It's like I don't care. I don't think that trip was supposed to happen. Oh, rabid weasels. Like of all the possible things you say, why rabid weasels?
Yeah, he's not buying any of it.
No. I think that garbage can says like Viscerocker on it or something. So is it supposed to be like a garbage can just for viscera or something?
See, I'll tell you what I miss, man. Back in the day, I had a had a really nice DVD player, and it had on the controller the option to pause, angles, zoom, so much where you could take frames,
Yeah.
sections on a frame, and just zoom it so you could actually read really hard. And some reason you don't see that function. I have not seen that function on a controller in a very long time.
Yeah, true. I love that. I don't think it's going to work, Ernie.
I'm curious to know exactly what that German propaganda poster says.
Yeah, same here. I love it's like, everyone get back. We're going to tell him now. Oh. Oh, priceless. I just love how, like, completely, like, he's just sat there playing with the Walkman. Hmm.
I love some of these names. You got trash, suicide.
Yeah. And he's Chuck. Yeah. Scuzz, trash, suicide, Chuck.
I love this. Just cracks me up. I don't know why.
Yeah. I
Crabs
thought this was funny. The
tree.
fact that he pulls out his thing and, whacks it with a stick to make it work, and then he's like, it's about 10.
Now this looks pretty good, man.
Yeah. It's funny how black and white can just like, I mean, like, look at that. That looks like something right out of like gothic horror right there, you know?
The cannon right there. I never really paid attention to it a whole lot.
I never realized it was a cannon until just now. I always thought it was like a cart or something. And this is that scene. I mean, it works. I mean, you feel like complete loneliness. Like there's nobody around. It's completely desolate. I guess when you think about it, like logically speaking, this is probably the best place that you could have a zombie outbreak. 'Cause it's kind of remote.
It's funny just think just how great this movie is, and we haven't even gotten to the outbreak yet.
Yeah. What I love here is Freddy in the background there, just playing around with you know, whatever that tool is.
And that's the thing, man. No matter who the camera is really focused in on, anyone else in frame is doing something.
Yeah. Which is the sort of thing, I mean, a lot of movies would just be like, okay, sit in the background there and, like, look sad.
Like Tom Matthews there. You just want to know what he's thinking, man.
Yeah. I wonder if at this point, he realizes, like, this is kind of like what we're going to have to go through at some point.
Well, great. Again, there's so much foreshadowing going on. I mean, here's another one.
Hmm.
We'll be here again, with someone's decision
Yep.
to sort of opt out.
Hmm.
Right. A lot of foreshadow going on. And it's done well because I mean, until you've actually seen the movie and see where you end up, you know, it doesn't really come across as as awkward as a lot of times foreshadowing of
Hmm.
things can be. It's so painfully obvious,
Yeah.
but it's written so well, man.
Hmm.
And go back to World War II. The inspiration for this oven was Auschwitz,
Yeah.
which is interesting. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. It's kind of, it's one of those things, isn't it? I mean,
Look at that.
where
Oh,
was
that
it?
looks insane.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, I always noticed, like, when it came out, like, from here, the smoke never looked like yellow, like it was supposed to. 'Cause it was supposed to look yellow here as well. But in black and white, it just looks right.
Now I
What I
don't know.
wonder is this: if it hadn't been like already like a stormy night, would this just gone up into the atmosphere and that would have been it?
Yeah, it might.
Yeah, like is it just really bad luck that it happened to be like on a stormy night? And look at that rain, that's awesome.
Oh, that does.
Hmm.
And I messed with the contrast a bit, so it's a bit grainy too, which makes it look even better.
Oh yeah.
No cash in safe.
Please wipe feet before entering.
Why? I love it on the door, man. Why?
Yeah. I don't have any windows, I busted them. That's awesome.
See, it's funny. It's funny. You expect some of these people to start doing what they're doing, but you don't expect trash to.
No, no, you don't.
That is the real cool thing about you know
Oh, look at that.
off of the original source material. You actually get to see the zombies come up out of the ground. I love that.
Yeah. Hmm. It's the sort of thing it always worked. I mean, I know Dan O'Bannon felt that, these particular scenes didn't work as well as he wanted them to, but I think they work fine.
Yeah, I never remember having a problem thinking to myself, "Oh, you know, this looks wrong," or
Yeah,
I,
I mean,
I, I understood what the intent was. I mean, we want to see them crawling up, and I mean,
mhm. Now that's the thing. Have you ever seen a movie that's made people look sick that looks as effective as that?
no, they do a pretty outstanding job here.
Yeah, and I mean,
What helps is all the added sweat on the
yeah, I mean
clothing.
that really does it. I mean, and it's a little detail that you know most likely wouldn't most people wouldn't think of when they were making a movie. But the fact that Dan O'Bannon thought let's make them sweaty. Hmm.
That might be the only thing missing here is just seeing one of these guys puke up some like really really crazy kind of vomit.
Yeah. I mean, Frank puked behind the stairs, but we never hear anything about it. I mean, let's be honest, you could add a scene like where someone slipped in it. It's a bit gross, but it would work.
Yeah, see, there's another beautiful little foreshadowing. We need some paramedics over here.
Yeah. Man, I don't know about you, but if I was like an ambulance driver and someone said, pull around the back to the embalming room, I'd be kind of like, what have you been doing? Why do you need paramedics in the embalming room?
Having that chain link on your lips gotta be the most uncomfortable thing in the world.
Funny story about that. I was at a concert once. It was who was it? Uh, Danzig and Rob Zombie. I think there was one more. I think of the Ramones also. And there was a guy there who had one of those, a freshly done piercing as well from his nose right up to his ear. And nice guy. He was, we talked to him a bit. It was kind of cool. But wouldn't you know, during the Danzig set, he was in the pit and he came out. That chain wasn't there anymore, and he was gushing blood from both his nose and his ear. So I love that all the skeletons are just on the floor. I love that they didn't resurrect. I don't know why they didn't resurrect, though. They should have.
Yeah, that's weird because isn't the earlier didn't we get sort of the implication that they might have been real bodies shipped from India,
Yeah.
and yet they don't resurrect, so that sort of makes that null and void, I guess.
Yeah. See, I would have said that, there's nothing on it to resurrect, but I mean, you get that guy out in the cemetery that's all bones, and he comes back, I don't know.
Oh, this is going to be good right here.
Oh, yeah. I just wonder about the other canisters. I wonder what zombies are in those. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Like there, you could have had her fall in that vomit that he threw up there earlier.
I was just thinking, would have been maybe if Tarman would have thought a little bit quicker on his feet, and when he saw her hanging there in that hole, if he would have just gone down the other way and then pulled her through.
That would have been cool. I like the fact that, he's smart enough that he's going to use this winch to try to get in there.
Oh, this is good.
and it's the way he's twitching. You know, that almost makes it worse.
It reminds me of incoming mail. That scene always bothered me in that movie. That was the only scene in that entire movie that really got under my skin.
Mm.
Constant hit of the hammer, man.
Mm.
For anyone who does not know the reference, Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2.
Yep.
Oh, man. Oh, I love that movie.
Oh, yeah. I love that he thought to look through the you know, the sliding door thing. You know, like, who else would it be coming to see them in the middle of the night when they've called for the paramedics? And of course, as was mentioned in like the commentary, Tom Matthews pierced his ear for this role.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, that kind of says something, you know, if you're willing to, you know, get some. Yeah, it is like, you know, light body modification, but it's still body modification.
What did he say? What did he say? They would have just glued it on?
Yeah, they'd all glued it on, but you're like, no, went and got a real one.
Just the work on the lips and everything, man. You could just see things are.
Mm-hmm. You're like, let's just trade this. Let's see what's going on. Take it easy.
You're dead.
This is what I love. The fact that, you know, Ernie wants to go over with them and like I'm a professional. I'm like, no, you just stay there. I think ain't his head. Yeah, I never noticed that was a cannon before.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
Mm-hmm. I love that they just leave trash. It's like, oh well.
You know, it's funny. This movie could have really got mean-spirited, and it never really does.
Yeah, well, you know, they kept the lightheartedness without, how can I put it, without they never shied away from like the horror aspect, but I love how that one tombstone was rocking back and forth there. The Augustus B. Johns one. Yeah, you know, they never shy away from the horror aspect, but you know, it's one of the few like real horror comedies that work.
Yeah. Word, yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm. I just love his reaction. He pulls out the gun and goes out there. And I love his reaction when he gets there. Are you on PCP? Oh. You want PCP? It's like, man, you never hear about PCP anymore.
Uh, there's you hear it in Terminator
Mm-hmm.
as an explanation to Sarah why he was able to do what he was able to do.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right, yeah, you don't really. I mean, that Italian movie, The Wild Beasts. I mean, PCPs. But yeah, we don't really hear in
Yeah.
newer movies.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe it's like a dead drug now. I don't know. This is one of those great scenes, and what makes it really is the misdirection. You know, you see everybody in the front, you think that's where it's coming from, and like, nope, from the side, and it's like, I always like to think that the other paramedic was named Ben, Ben and Jerry. I just love the fact that this zombie never gets out of there.
There you go. There's two unaccounted for zombies.
Yeah, yeah, because that dude's not on the table anymore. I love that. What did they do to you? Like that's the first reaction. It's like,
Oh, this is great.
oh yeah. Now we get one of my favorite zombies, as I like to call him, Stubby. I love the fact he falls over too. He gets him start tripping.
We can't take the cut. First, we've got to call the police.
I wonder what they think the police are gonna do. Mm.
Yeah. randomly start shooting.
Yeah.
Look at that big piece of furniture. I'd love to have something like that in my house.
Oh yeah. I love the fact that they come in here, but they don't actually really, do anything. Like, I think they put a few boards up, if I remember right, but
Yeah.
not enough to really keep them out, but they don't come in.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and those are actual brains he's eating. Not human brains, but, brains. Like they were calf brains or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, paramedics.
Well, let's get the hell back to the embalming room. Come on. Man, my arm's so big. Put that goddamn thing down there before you hurt somebody with it. How they doing? All right.
What did you do to Freddy? What's wrong with you? And it's me.
You want me to stop and tell us what the fuck's going on? I don't have to tell you anything, Dick Brain. We think you should. There's some chemical that's soaked into the soil of the graveyard and made corpses come back to life. You what fucking chemical? I don't know what chemical, goddammit!
Look, we're already 1:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's quite a bit of time elapsed.
Yeah. Well, I guess, it probably does take a long time to burn
Well, plus
bunch
they
of zombies.
place across to the other back.
Mhm. Hmm.
Tom Atkins, man, he does a good job.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Oh, rigor mortis.
There's things out there. I love that. Hmm. I love this football tackle that the one zombie does on the guy. It's so brutal and out of nowhere. And douche.
Oh,
Don't worry, I have my convenient corpse hook. I wouldn't go that far. She looks better now.
What are we doing with it? Oh, what's happening? Make sure it's time right.
so what's better, Return of the Living Dead Part 2 or 3?
I say 3 personally. But 2's still a damn good movie, honestly. It's a lot better than people give it credit for. I want to know how she said pain without lips.
It hurts to be dead.
Oh, it's that twitching spine with the stuff leaking out of it that's just, Like, no, you come over here. We'll just,
You can't kill those mothers. They're already dead. You gotta understand they're not living creatures. They're still come at you. All we could do is burn them and then totally reduce them to ashes so there's nothing left to come after you. How you're gonna burn all those things? Man, there's 100 of those fuckers.
Oh, here we go.
yeah. Yeah, it really makes you wonder though, like if it hadn't been raining, if any of this would have happened. It's that wide open mouth sculpt that's just kind of creepy, you know? Watch where you're going, it says in the back. I love this. It's like, I never did like you.
A lot wiser if we say contain Frank and Freddy, you know what I'm saying?
No, what do you mean contained?
Well, what I mean is lock them in a room somewhere so they funny they wouldn't hurt anybody. They want to hurt each other.
You bastard! Why don't you want to stop that?
Look, lady, we're not proposing doing anything. We just want to lock them in another room so we can figure out how to get the hell out of here, all right? That's a good idea. Where can we put them in? You want the chapel?
Sure. Yes, of course.
Well, according to their clock, it's about 25 after 2.
Yeah. I find it funny that of the two of them, Frank looks like the worst for wear, but the first one to really turn is Freddy.
Yeah.
Well, put them on the carpet. Yeah, they'll be fine.
I'm not leaving, Freddie.
We gotta lock the door, you know that.
I'm staying.
Dispatch, this is Bravo 751. We're at the mortuary. We see paramedic vehicle parked in the rear parking lot. Doors on one vehicle are hanging open. I will investigate both.
It's funny because, you know, the guy that you think is acting like him, you know, is actually a cop in real life.
Is he?
Yeah, you know, they hired like an actual cop. But I don't know, it just seems like he's like the one that would be like
Ooh.
yeah.
Well, remember one of these guys, I don't know who it is. One of these guys is the monster cop from Night of the Comet.
Yeah. Mhm. I just love that, like, like a Confederate soldier or whatever knows what cops are. Send more cops.
I think we all should disobey on proposal. Crawl space this ceiling. And go up barricade or something. I'm really up to the hatch. They'll let you shut. What's the matter with your fucking mind? I'm not barricading myself in no damn room. Shit, I'm gonna take my chances with the cars. We need a way to fight them. How about this? What's that? Tractor jets, pretty much. Just granted.
This little jar of acid.
I really didn't think about it until now, but there's a little bit of an inverting from the original film, right? They barricade themselves in the basement, but here they'll barricade themselves in the attic.
Yep.
You got to imagine just how much. I mean, he's freezing cold. He smells.
Mm-hmm. See, the funny thing is, like that, you know, like he turns, and his first thought is he wants to eat her. Frank turns, and his first thought is like, you know what, I'm still human enough to go and take myself out of the equation. Boom.
You're right. The other guy just runs out of the room.
Yeah, he's like, I'm out of here.
It's like, I'm not hungry. I don't want no brains. I'm just want out of this.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
That's a creepy poster up that picture in the left upper corner as you're going into the chapel. I don't know what that is. It's pretty creepy though. Oh, look, Rudy.
I don't know what he's gonna do with that. You know, it's like I'm gonna stab it in the head. It's like, well, okay, what will happen if you do?
He's trying to get out. Get me.
More than trying there, buddy.
See that picture in the upper left hand?
Yeah,
What is that? That is creepy.
that is. I don't know.
Doesn't look like an appropriate picture to be hanging up as you're going into a chapel.
No, it doesn't.
It was about 20 after 3.
Yep.
It's getting late, man. It's getting late.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he is so freaking pissed right now.
Oh yeah.
Get one of the cars, bring it up in the door. Please call me. She's gonna have the keys to the keys.
I can't remember that
Motor's still running.
that guy. Isn't he in a Friday the 13th?
I think he's in part 5.
I was
I
wondering
think
that.
he's that damn enchilada.
Yeah.
I like just the slight effect they did on the foot. You know, just enough of a swelling to make it look like it's genuinely injured.
I never realized that.
Yeah, it's one of those little things. I mean, you wouldn't. Most people, I don't think, would even think to do it. You know, they just have them put their foot up and be like, okay, it's broken. You know. Mm.
Goddamn car over, we'll send help.
We'll send help, man. It's like, come on.
What are we gonna do now? Find your phone, call the cops. What the fuck? Jesus Christ.
You got plowed through, man.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been my reaction. I wouldn't have like skidded to a stop. I'd been like, nope.
There you go.
This way, you stupid honky. I love it. I love this.
I love what the back of his jacket says.
Yeah. I also love the fact that the TV version says TV version on the back.
What?
Yeah, they refilmed, they reshot the stuff with him, and it says on the back of his jacket TV version.
No.
Yep.
Never do that.
Yeah.
Is that? Well, you know, it's like wake the duck up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never understood that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is interesting you point this out. Just the difference, even enough to realize to pull off his wedding band.
Yep.
and even the wherewithal to ask for forgiveness because he's about to commit suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting.
You got to wonder though. At this point, would it really be suicide? I mean,
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
he's kind of already dead, so. They had to cut down that scream. The MGM told them to cut it down because it was too, like, I guess loud and disturbing.
I'll tell you. Maybe the most disturbing scream that I've heard is when in H2 when Michael snaps that guy's arm, man, and he comes
Oh yeah.
away screaming. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it is unnerving, man.
He really is.
I mean, he really does sound like he just had his arm snapped.
Then again, you never know. Maybe he did.
Okay, what's back there? Rubber gloves. Rubber gloves.
Inhalation vaporizer.
Another phone in the basement. The basement? Fuck! You know what's in the basement? One of those fucking corpses, man. A real ugly one, all black and slimy.
Oh, black and slimy.
I just love that, now his reaction is like, you know what? I'm going to whack it with a baseball bat. Because last time we did this, it didn't work out too well. Mm. Makes you wonder how he was able to put up that ladder and climb up there with no eyes anymore.
Well, I mean, at least we are given some sense of explanation. The fact that his sense of smell is honing
Yeah.
him in, and without his eyes, his smell is probably even better.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow that logic.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the thing mentioned too on or one of the docs, the idea that he actually was thinking about putting her out of her misery.
Yeah.
But of course he wouldn't need to.
No. I don't know what he's doing with the hammer here. It's like, is he trying to hold it down with the hammer?
He has one zombie with a hammer.
Yeah.
It's too bad too. That would have been a nice effect, man, if he would have got one.
Yeah. Now here's something I wonder. How come Suicide hasn't come back as a zombie, but Trash did? Maybe because she got it on her skin? I don't know.
Yes, go ahead. You gotta help us.
That's Dan O'Bannon.
First of all, mister, what the hell is going on there? I lost a dozen good men and nobody. Sharks, steering, man, and they'll kill you and eat you if they catch you. Tiger diseases like rabies, only faster. It's a lot faster. That's why you gotta come in here right now and get us the hell out of here right now.
I gotta love that. Just a minute. There's a lot of noise out here.
Cops, got two cops.
Hmm. wonder if anyone's actually called that number. I wonder if it goes somewhere.
Well, I'd be curious just to Google that phone number and see what
Yeah.
comes. Now that's a matte painting in the back there, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. Hmm. So this is Horace and Ethel.
Mr. Wilson, where are you calling from?
Hmm.
And when was the tank first breached? Did you call this number immediately?
Mhm.
What effect did that have? How many did you
Really? How many did you say?
the cemetery covers it? Thank you for your assistance, Mr. Wilson. I'm going to switch you back to Captain Turner now. You'll talk to him.
And of course, now is one of the probably the only really big gaffe in the entire movie. With the super glued phone that comes off while he's using it.
Sir, this is Colonel Glover. Sorry to disturb you at this hour, sir, but
Hmm.
looks like we found that lost consignment of Easter eggs. Yes, sir. Turned up in Louisville. Getting confirmations on this from the Louisville Police Department. Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky, sir. It's like, where else could it have been?
Eggs hatched. What are you doing, man? Here, these people seem to say they've been waiting for this to happen. Apparently they got some sort of contingency plan to deal with.
Let's go.
Yeah, sure it is.
Special mobile artillery. Yes, sir. Forward to you too, sir. Yes, sir. All right, sir. Whatever you say, sir. The code numbers, please, sir. Archimedes, Hot Dog, Rhubarb, Niner, 0, Niner. Gotcha, sir. Mary, Mark, 2, 2. Eric, 2, 2, 0.
Oh boy.
Miles. Range, 134 miles.
The funny thing is, this is probably like the correct course of action.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but I love that that nuclear missile is actually just a giant bullet. It's a pretty good effect shot, really, for like.
Spectacular results, sir.
uh,
Optimal placement. Well, sir, only 20 square blocks destroyed. Less than 4,000 dead.
Now,
I wouldn't worry about the fire.
I'm not that familiar with part 2 or 3, but do they segue off of this, the idea that all this is going up into the air and coming back down again?
Nope. No, the part 2 just it's another lost barrel. It's actually another Tarman, which is kind of funny. And part 3 Uh, 3's something to do with like a kid's father works in like the military or whatever, so he uses the thing to bring his girlfriend back from the dead.
Oh yeah, I kind of remember that now.
Yeah. See, this, I always think this is a really good way to do the, you know, the the credits. You know, it keeps you focused on them.
Do you ever fantasize about being killed?
Not a bad question, Bert. Fucking costume. Worked in the movie. Well, it ain't working now. Running the movie line.
The movie's live.
Oh man, I love this movie. I really do. And it just gets better with every viewing. Because you notice the stuff in the background. You notice, like, you know, Bert is a slave driver and all that.
Yeah, some of these things I never really.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing. You just go back and just look at all the backgrounds. You find all sorts of little Easter eggs and everything. It's great.
Fantasy too. Now they were pretty big at this moment.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And we got to talk about the soundtrack. I mean, this has a damn good soundtrack.
Yeah, it does fit really well.
I mean, I would love to find this on vinyl. I don't think it's very easy to find.
A lot of it's punk, right?
Yeah. I think pretty much everything was like from the LA punk scene, if I remember right. Yeah, Surfing Dead by the Cramps.
Really,
Original soundtrack album available on Enigma Records and Cassettes.
oh man, those were the days, weren't they?
Yeah.
Old cassettes, man.
Oh, yeah. You can't go wrong with this movie. It really is. It's perfect. You know, for what it is, it's completely perfect.
It's fun. It's a fun movie.
It is. And you know, once you know about the things in the background, you start looking and everything, and oh yeah.
So, not too many extras on the MGM release. There is a couple short documentaries, but on your Scream Factory, what are some good ones on there?
Oh yeah, it's loaded. There's new commentary with Gary Smart, who wrote complete history of Return of the Living Dead. New audio commentary with Tom Matthews, John Philbin, and Tony Gardner, the makeup guy. Audio commentary with Dan O'Bannon and the production designer. Audio commentary with the cast and crew. The Decade of Darkness. It's like a 20-minute thing on 80s horror.
Yeah, that's
trailers and all that stuff. Then there's the FX of the Living Dead. So it's a Living Dead, effects thing, obviously. Party Time, the music of Return of the Living Dead, a whole thing about that. Horror's Hallowed Grounds, revisiting the locations, so that's always good. The Return of the Living Dead work print, which is the 3-hour cut of the movie. With, there's no music in it or anything, but it's really fun to watch. More Brains, the definitive documentary on Return of the Living Dead, that's damn good. Conversation with Dan O'Bannon, his final interview. The Origins of the Dead, an interview with John A. Russo. Return of the Living Dead, The Dead Have Risen, and Designing the Dead. So it's loaded.
That's nice.
Yeah, honestly, if you see a copy of this around somewhere, I definitely recommend picking it up. Hell, just for More Brains is an awesome documentary, and the work print is just kind of fun.
And I do believe haven't they released More Brains as its own?
Yeah, it has its own release as well somewhere. I don't know whether it's if it's over like in the US and Canada, but I think it had a UK release on its own. It's good though.
So what do you think overall with the black and white?
I love it in black and white. It works. And it feels like how can I put it? Like, it feels like the same world as Night of the Living Dead. At least for me. And everything just works. Kind of like... I don't know how to put it. Let's put it this way. I will watch this movie either way. But if someone ever said to me, you know what, let's watch Return of the Living Dead in black and white, I'd be like, okay. It's just as good as the color version. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. I really do like it. I wouldn't say it's my preferred way to view it, but I think I like Tarman just a little bit more in color.
Yeah.
But the cemetery, just like we said, the smoke. A lot of things are.
The things you notice that you don't notice normally.
I'll say this: the skeleton that comes up, it's party time. Actually, that looks better in black and white than.
Yeah.
And the effect of them crawling up through the earth, I thought was better seen in black and white.
Yeah. It just, I don't know. It's one of those things. I mean, I'm 100% down with there being two versions of this movie. And I consider it two versions. The black and white version and the color. It would be cool to it would be cool to see this on the big screen in black and white. It never happened, but it could be cool.
Makes you wonder if with the Mist, if since it did get its appropriate black and white release, if it ever has been released theatrically. I mean, a lot of times in bigger cities and stuff, you do sometimes get to see things that no one else does.
That's true. I don't know. Um, it would definitely be something that would be cool. You know what? I'm just gonna take a look here. The Mist, black and white, theatrical. Cool. Hmm. I don't think it's ever been like, like shown theatrically, unfortunately. But that would be kind of cool if they did.
So what do you think? Nightmare City?
Yeah, I'm down for Nightmare City for sure. Because
I'm
that'll be
really
interesting.
curious because, I mean, um, to somebody like me or you perhaps, or those like us who, do appreciate and have a love for Italian cinema, some of the stuff that would come across as a bit cheesy or whatnot to some,
Hmm.
uh, I'm sure a lot of that would have to be negated. I'm curious to see how it's negated by the black and white and how it looks
Yeah.
with
Well,
how
black and
these.
white has that ability, doesn't it? Just to like soften like jarringly bad effects.
Um, what copy of Nightmare do you have?
I have an old DVD, so I think it's Anchor Bay, maybe.
Oh, so we would be a little bit flipped then because I
Yeah.
have the Arrow release of that, so I could hype up some of the extras on that one.
Yeah, nice.
I have to go back and look at it and just see what those are. I'm sure I haven't really watched, but
Mhm.
yeah, I think Nightmare City might be.
Oh yeah, I'm down for it for sure.
These zombies are somewhere between Romero's and Nightmare City. I would imagine something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not so much. Well, I guess they are. Well, I don't know. I mean, they're not. They're more in line with being your traditional zombie than say, like Nightmare City. They're infected
Mhm.
because I mean, what we have here in this movie is the remnant of um, what was the Night of the Living Dead
Yeah.
incident.
Yeah.
So they are zombies,
Yep.
but if yeah, it does. It's interesting because it begs the question or thought if at least in terms of this world, if Night of the Living Dead was a real incident, then it begs to wonder if that incident wasn't more in line with this versus what we see in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where the movie was sort of played up as a movie, the real incident that's alluded to in this film is more like what happened in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Which, yeah, yeah. So that's kind of interesting.
Yep.
I guess we'll get just close this thing out here. But has George Romero ever remarked about his thoughts on this film?
I've never heard anything, but I don't think he ever had a problem with it or anything. I mean, most of like the problems between like Romero and Russo were more between their lawyers than it was between them. Because they never really had like an actual falling out with each other. So, you know, I think he probably dug it. You know, I mean, it's definitely not his zombies, but you know, it is what it is, right? It's its own thing, and I think George Romero would have appreciated that.
Well, you got anything else?
No, that's it.
All right.
So there we go. Return of the Living Dead, classic movie. Now, everyone, you have another reason to watch it. Just turn off your color and have a blast. So yeah,
I might even add turn down that contrast a bit. It gives it a bit more of a grainy. Of course, this is the MGM transfer and not your transfer, so I'm not sure what that would look like had you done it, but
yeah,
um, it is look pretty cool when it's a little bit more grainy,
nice.
black and white. So there's options, especially with our new smart TVs and deciding if you want your black and white to be cool or warm or normal. Um, you do have some options to play with a palette, so to speak, with your black
Yeah,
and white.
yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. Like especially if you're a fan of black and white. You know,
Yep.
it's a good way to experience movies again.
Definitely go back and watch our previous ones.
Oh yeah,
Some good ones in there. Texas Chainsaw, Alien 3,
yep.
Stage Fright. Was
Oh
fun.
yeah,
It was fun. And what was our very first one we ever did was the Evil Dead remake, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah.
I
Which is
think
another one that worked really well.
now that was my preferred way to see it, was in black and white, I think.
Yeah.
Um, and didn't we do the Fog?
Yeah. I think we did the Fog. We've done quite a lot actually, you know, and it like I said, it's just a different way to enjoy your favorite movies.
Definitely. It's you're not going to get quite the effect as you would say with the Broom edition of the Mist, or even the black and chrome edition of Fury Road. Or
Yeah.
I've not seen it, but the Logan. I'm sure the Logan black and white cut is
Yeah.
take a look at. But so, anyways, black and white. It is definitely a way of going back and re-enjoying or enjoying
Yeah.
some of these movies. Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.